Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today we have Rigan Machado on the show, a legend in the world of BJJ, a man who's done everything there is to do. I can't even explain his belt rank. I honestly can't. I'm going to have to ask him. Like it's such a high rank, I can't even explain it. Like how to get to it at least. He is one of the highest ranked guys in the world. He's won so many matches. He's had such huge matches stemming back from 1986, which we're going to talk about, the epic fight between him and Rickson Gracie. Now he's moved into Hollywood, and in the Hollywood scene, he's training celebrities like Ashton Kutcher, Vin Diesel. He's friends with Mel Gibson. He trained with the late Paul Walker, and now he's getting into films as well. And Keanu Reeves as well. And so now he's getting into films. He's stunt coordinating. He's doing films. So I think it's going to be an epic conversation. I can't wait to get started. So let's do it. Rigan, welcome to the show.
What a pleasure.
Man, what an honor to have you on my show, man. You are a legend, living legend in the BJJ world.
Thanks. You too.
No,
you're
man,
a legend.
In MMA. It's like I've been doing jiu-jitsu, No-Gi mostly at a high level for 20 years, but I've only gotten my purple belt in Gi Jiu-Jitsu because I'm one of those guys, stubborn fighters that like want to just do No-Gi all the time and fight and not spend time working on the Gi, but I still respect it so much.
Today I have 10 times more pleasure to do jiu-jitsu with No-Gi. I love the No-Gi, but 70 to 80% of my students want to learn the traditional jiu-jitsu, the jiu-jitsu. I think I offer the students the choice or to train for gi, no-gi, but 75% or 80% is I teach more today with gi, but I have 30% of my students don't like the gi, which I try give to the students a choice, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and even though I'm a purple belt, I have so much respect for Gi Jiu-Jitsu. I enjoyed doing it when I did it, and the history, and you're like a 8th degree red-black coral belt, correct?
Coral belt.
See, like I'm a purple belt, like I don't even know what that is. Like I can't even explain. You're so high up, and you're so like ranked so high. Like I can't even explain what your rank is.
Belt is mean like time, how long your time on. I got my black belt. I was 17.
Wow.
I was a young guy, and I believe like I've been have my black belt for over almost 37 years.
Wow.
And is the quarter belt is how long you have your black belt.
Okay.
And the quarter belt is when you step up in a different category group, like we call the master group, which is the quarter belt, the red and the white. After this, the final belt, the master, which is the red belt. It's not many people today as a red belt because people die after a while.
Right, of course.
But we have some red belts, like probably like 15 or 20 red belts, quarter belt, probably like close to 60 quarter belts in the world. But it's kind of cool. Now for me, is part of the history. I've been doing that for 50 years now. Yeah, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I started 5. And it's kind of interesting when the first time you arrive in the United States, I have just me and my cousins, didn't have no Jiu-Jitsu academy. We travel around the United States to see who know grappling. Is not many people know grappling submission. That's why I believe after a while, Horton come out the idea why you don't do a group fight, no rules time to prove the efficiency of grappling of the submission jiu-jitsu. I think that was the most super smart way to do it. Yeah. I think the success UFC helped the sport jiu-jitsu to go to the next level.
Absolutely.
I remember it was Brazil, maybe United States. If that's it. Yeah, after that, we have the sport in over 200 countries. Only Brazil right now have over 5 million competitors in the sport. Around the world, probably another 5 millions. I think you have probably close to 10 million competitors around the world. It's unbelievable to see how the UFC, the mixed martial art evolution, helped the sport to grow. I remember I went to see in Vegas, Las Vegas, competition, and have 9,000 competitors.
Wow.
If you see that the first Pan America we put together here with my cousin Carlos Grace Jr., the head of the organization, the EBJJF, we have only 300 competitors.
Right.
Almost like you have 20% Americans and the rest is from Brazil. But that's how the success of the mixed martial arts help the sport, the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, to grow super, super fast, because it's kind of cool because Jiu-Jitsu become a part of mixed martial arts.
Yeah,
A lot of
absolutely.
90%, a lot of the people who do mixed martial art want to train Jiu-Jitsu too.
Yes, sir.
And the evolution, the Jiu-Jitsu, the grapple with No-Gi, the Jiu-Jitsu with No-Gi, that open a complete opportunity for us to offer, you know what I mean, more programs to teach. It's amazing. It's evolution of the sport is something so amazing. I've been over 100 countries.
Yeah,
I gave
it's
over
crazy.
or close to over 725 seminars in
Wow.
over 100 countries in the last 38 years.
Jeez. And that's the
It's
thing, like
crazy.
even me being past my UFC career now and retired from fighting, yesterday I was on the mats with my purple belt with my new BJJ coach here in Thailand, and now I'm wanting to get my black belt properly. Like I'm wanting to go through, because I've always been, even though I didn't know how to explain your ranking so well, I know it goes through years, but I've always been a huge fan. I was growing up watching obviously the fighting, like Rickson Gracie and the Vale Tudos and the Gracie's in action, and obviously the BJJ matches from the old days. And speaking of which, you, sir, were in one of the greatest BJJ matches of all time with Rickson in 1986. And when you know the details surrounding, I mean, I've studied the details before that, watching that, it's incredible.
Actually, it's kind of cool because I have to go to Brazil in November. They're going to put my name on the street, a star, they call the star on the street, because now they have a park called the Grace Park, and have the street of martial arts and fighters. And I'm going to get my star on the ground.
Wow.
The mayor is going to give to me, and I have to go over there. They put a star, like same like a Hollywood star here. They're going to give my star in Brazil to the collaboration on the sport, and be a good ambassador and a good. It's not only that, but I'm gonna get award from the same organization who put me to fight the Rickson. They want to give me an award for me, one for Hicks, the fight of the century on the sport, because one of the most famous fight because you're not supposed to fight each other.
Yeah, I know the details.
He,
It's crazy.
he was my coach.
Yeah, and you
He,
tried to slam him on his head, and you went like 100%. It was like when you know the details of that, it's way more interesting when you watch that match.
it's like this. You a fighter. You know, like when you step on the ring, it's business.
Yes, sir.
And remember, I on the beginning, I tried push myself out.
Mhm.
Like I didn't want to fight my cousin Rickson because so much respect, and he was one of my
course.
idol growing up. And to fight him, I have to be pushed to the corner. Like people have to really push me to go fight. My philosophy, I said, man, I step on the ring, is business, is fighting. I'm gonna change my mode, and we realized after a while he didn't want to fight either in the beginning. I didn't want to fight because it don't make sense. I said,
Yeah.
boy, Higgins, my boy, Hickson, we have so much respect for each other. He was my coach. I was 17 at the time. But my philosophy like this: you step in the ring, you have to create a block. You come to kill, and
Yeah.
that's what I did. I went to. I didn't want to look at him as a cousin. I want to look at him as a competitor. And I gave my best. I took him down. I passed his guard. I went to attack. The reason People
It's
like
incredible.
the fight because both forget about points. We're
Right.
gonna try to meet each other, and we come for the kill. And when you see a fight like that between two at the time, best at the time,
Hmm.
uh, um, there was amazing because probably the gymnasium have close to 4, maybe 5,000 people watching national TV, and was considered at the time the biggest event in the country.
Yep.
And to to I remember like I couldn't hear a pin drop. Was everybody so quiet?
Yeah.
It sounded like when I start taking Rickson down, the whole gymnasium was making noise like I never heard before. Looked like you watch a soccer game, and was man. People have standing ovation, clap. The fight was a war. And it's not about winning or lose for me. For me, I gave my best at the time. I learned so much because I was have a little lack of a strategy.
Hmm.
Rickson, he survived all my attacks. When I gave every gas I have on the tank. When he started coming back, my gas was a little bit lower, and he have a chance to come after me and win the fight. And for me, I learned so much because my next fights I destroyed my opponents and I completely dominate the sport. And Rickson start switch to do more MMA, the sport jiu-jitsu. I was able to dominate for a while. Yeah, for the next 3, 4 years, I dominated the sport. After this, I came to America, and we end up work together again. That was super cool. Rickson for me was a pleasure. Today we talk about another day. We sit down, have a coffee, talking about the fight. He said, Rigan, I got so much respect because that's what a warrior is. You come, you gave 100%, and I gave 100%. We kind of talking about how amazing was the fight
Yeah.
because that's what I love. I love to go to a war zone, to go in the ring and say, hey, and I come to win. The other guy, you look to him the same intention to want to take your head off, and
Yeah.
you guys go to war and you beat him is a big pleasure. That's what I was addicted. I believe the reason I have 365 fights winning because I didn't care about much medal, victory. I want to beat. I want to win. I want to
Yeah.
get the pleasure. And my coach just hold me back. Wait. Yes, said, coach, put me to fight the big guy in the open class. Put me to fight that guy. And my coach, okay, he let it go. And I think what made me a good fighter, I put two things. I put hours on the mat. I train 6 hours a day, 3 sections a day, and I compete every weekend.
Yeah.
And I think the number of competition you get so sharp, point wise, strategic wise, mental. I come to a point I already step on the mat. I know I'm gonna beat the guy just to look at him,
Yeah.
and that kind of feeling is amazing because I look at the guy. I said, I give you like 3 minutes this fight in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but the best fights for me when they look to the other side in the ring and I see the guy put the same time, the same effort. He wanna come after me. He wanna take my spot, and that is the best fights. That's the fights I love to have. You know what I mean?
That's crazy. Yeah. And you said you talked to Rickson. Is he still doing good? And is he still training and rolling? And
Rickson, he have a surgery a while back. He have a hip surgery. Like example today, the problem, the method training we have in the past and the method training we have today is a little bit different.
right.
Method training we have in the past is we spar like 40 times a day. And you
Yeah.
compete
Yeah. I
often.
know.
And the problem I have uh, after you have like 40 years doing that, the injuries start coming back.
Right.
I remember I never step on the ring 100% health. Always have some injury, some problem here, some problem here. And today, when you retire, all these little injuries start coming back. Yeah, example, Rickson have problems, a lot of problems on his hip. Today I have a lot of problems on my shoulder. I can have some problems on my foot, Achilles. But you have to fight to keep your body health, rehabilitation. You know what I mean? Stretch. You have to be sure, like, you keep your body active. And for me, that's my biggest focus right now because I still teaching a lot. I be sure sometimes when I get somebody too heavy, I have a assistant guy to help to do the drills. I try be a smarter teacher, but today the method and the evolution in anything MMA in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is like 100% better. The new generation of fighters today is fantastic. I love to watch the new fighters. The sports jiu-jitsu is a different level.
Yeah.
At the time compete. I remember now is that every super athletes they training wise, smart, the nutrition, the weight training, the everything. And my time didn't have much of that. What happened? I never have a nutrition growing up. I never have a weight trainer. The things I do, I want to get ready for competition. I get guys like heavyweight guys to twice my size to spar for them to get used to fighting the open class.
Yeah.
Things like that was the only method we have. We believe, like, my coach at the time believed, like, you want to be a hammer, you start as a nail.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you up. You get tough. Now you're going to beat people up.
Yeah.
That's not the right. Maybe you do that today, like you're going to lose 9% of your students. I think today the evolution of training is so fantastic compared to the time we used to train, me, Hicks, or some of these guys. We pay the price today from the number of injuries and surgeries and things we have to go through to keep the body health today. Is crazy.
Yeah, and how's this for a coincidence? So you're obviously a legend in BJJ, and you've had the epic fight in 1986 with Rickson, and you're into films now, and you're doing a lot of films. And I just want to say there was two awesome things that happened in 1986. There was you versus Rickson, and then Top Gun 1 came out. Now this is why this is a coincidence real fast. So Top Gun 1 came out in 1986 as well. Now, I don't think it's a coincidence you're getting all these accolades 34 years later in Brazil from the fight with Rickson Gracie, and so is Top Gun coming out again in part 2. Is there a chance we're going to see Rickson versus Rigan friendly exhibition part 2 also? That's my question. What a coincidence would that be? Because it is 34 years later you're getting all these accolades from that bout, and Top Gun 2 is coming out.
I have a good answer for you. Like, it's
a stretch.
Even in case I had the tools to beat Rickson, I think in my mind, I never want to do that.
Right.
Because for me, it's kind of funny because for me, Rickson was one of the biggest part of my evolution, my jiu-jitsu. And the reason I had to fight with him because the organization didn't have a choice. It was a big event, national TV. We need to have some blood. But for me, today is a different time. Like, example, I think in case we have the opportunity to fight, we fight when the prime of the time. You know what I mean? I don't think, even in case today I have the tools to beat Hicks, I'm never going to use.
Yeah,
because I think Rickson, for me, I look at him as a good ambassador, a good brother, which I think we have to do what you have to do for the sport, for the evolution of the sport.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you are fighting, it can be only one, and we have to fight each other, but for reasons. But today is no chance because
I didn't mean like a real fight. It was a stretch.
A different level mental, a different level physically, a different level in fight. You know what I mean? is like, in case we have to fight, it's going to be to save the world.
Yeah, I meant it more. It was a big stretch,
We
but
have to fight Hicks to save the world. They're going to compare Hicks. We have to save the world. You know what I mean? But another way is no way. Hickson is a brother. We have to do what you have to do. And we have so much respect for each other. It's amazing. It was a good fight on the pass.
yeah, it was a big stretch of a coincidence. But I mean, to bring you two out during the accolades that you're getting in Brazil, and just for you two to be together on the mats again in any form would just be legendary after 34 years because of that match and because of what y'all have done. Even if y'all just do anything, that's more what I meant.
People asking that all the time.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Y'all are legends, man.
I think it is, in case it didn't happen in the past, it's not going to happen today, because the right time to have a second match was at the time we both in the prime as a competitor. And I think nobody come out of the want to put together the fight. I think we have the good fight. I have the experience of my life at the time to fight Hicks. So that's even I get this award, Life of the Century, because it was one of the most unique fight ever had in Brazil at the time, because it was two cousins shooting against the coach.
Yeah,
was for the sport, and both didn't hold back anything. What happened, that was a good example for future generation, like how important is to. It's like same like UFC. I guarantee you train with your best friend, but you guys end up on the finals UFC, you're going to say, hey, man, we have to fight for the finals. Can be only one, and you're not going to lose your friend. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, well, at least we get Top Gun 2 this year. Hey everyone, I'm going to take a second to thank our sponsor, AK Thailand, here in Phuket, Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort. Right now, as of the taping, if you're watching all these podcasts, this is repetitive, but as of the taping of this podcast, still, because we're in this pandemic, we don't know when the flights are going to open up to Thailand. We are doing a 30% off reopen special for all group training. So you can pre-purchase now. It never expires, and it's good for all group training. If you have any questions, you can email us at info@akthailand.com. You can go to akthailand.com to find out all the details about the gym, the trainers, the training, the schedule. Go to the pricing page and book your training, whatever you want. And if you're not familiar with the gym yet, you haven't seen the podcast, you haven't seen the gym, here it is.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
How is it training all these celebrities that you train? I know you're with Keanu Reeves, Ashton Kutcher, all these guys.
This game that was heartbroken because I have one guy I train named Chadwick Boseman. I train him for Black Panther. And I was in Colorado opening a new school. And some friends in Brazil called me and told me the news. I was shocked. Yeah, I was sad for a couple of days because Chadwick Boseman, the story we have is so amazing because look, this story, nobody knows. You're going to be the first one to know. I teach the guy, the head of Marvels. I teach the executive producer of Marvels who do all the Marvels films. His name is Luis Desposito. He's just got his blue belt a while back. Yeah, I remember I was teaching him this before Black Panther. He was talking about they have this actor, they're gonna do use for Black Panther.
Hmm.
This he was told me who the guy was, and the same day I went to have breakfast, and I was sitting at the breakfast. Across the table was Chadwick Boseman. Nobody knew him, how he was a big actor or anything. I went to him and I want to congratulate him. Hey man, by the way, I want to congratulate. I know you Black Panther. He said, how do you know? I said, yeah, my friend, I teach the guys from Marvel. I said, oh, this and that. And when they told my name to him, by the way, my name is Rigan Machado. I have a school here in Beverly Hills, Jiu-Jitsu. He come to me, wait a minute, let me show you something. He showed me my number in his phone.
Oh, wow.
And I said, why you have my number? Brother, I'm going to call you today because I want to train jiu-jitsu with you. And my friend gave me your number, said you won the best, you know what I mean, for film, for jiu-jitsu. And the next day he come to training. I trained him for 3 months. We're talking about his vision for Black Panther. He want to move different. He want to fight different. He want to fight a lot of grappling because the Black Panther is not about strikes and
Right.
And basically, I did some ginástica natural with him, like some exercise on the floor. I put him to do all this circuit training. After this, we do like drills because for him, I didn't want to let he take a chance to get hurt because I
Right.
trained him for the film.
Yeah.
I didn't train him to be a fighter. He come to a point he couldn't do like 50 drills combined, like super fast. And I put him to do a circuit training condition specific for the grappling and throws and things like that. And he said, Higan, I want to use one of the techniques you taught me on the movie. Yeah, I was talking to him, why you don't do something different? That do like a triangle choke, have good legs on triangle, but instead do from the bottom, do from the back. And he used the techniques on
wow.
the film, and he submit the guy on the first fight they have in the reverse triangle.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It,
That's crazy.
that was super cool. In basically, we become real good friends.
What a
I
hero
went
he
to
is,
the
too.
year on the Black Panther. He introduced me to everybody. What was so special about him? I remember one time I was in a big event and he was getting some war. He was walking hundreds of people. He was sitting on the table. He said, I don't want to go over there, bug the guy, hundreds of people for talk. He looked at me, he saw me, said, stop. He crossed the tables from everybody. He came, he gave me a big hug and said, Higan, what a pleasure to see you here.
Wow.
And let me go back to work. And
Yeah.
we catch up later. And the next day you went to breakfast. But to do that for me was super cool because the respect and the admiration he have for
Yes.
me to training him. He's very good martial artist. He do all kind. He have few black belts. I don't know much of the details. He do a lot of trapping, a lot of Bruce Lee training, a lot of stuff like that. He's a capoeira. He do little
Hmm.
capoeira once a while. And for me, I felt bad the last time. We probably like 6 months, 6 or 7 months ago. We had breakfast, and he was too skinny.
Yeah.
I was mad. I said, brother, what the fuck is going on? Why are you too skinny? You have to go back to jiu-jitsu. Let's increase your diet. I want to see you get at least another 15 pounds of muscle. He said, no, because I played this character, but I didn't know he had a
Yeah.
cancer.
That's
And
crazy.
I felt so bad when they heard because I gave him a hard time. For me, it broke my heart to didn't know he had cancer. He went through all this chemotherapy, all these surgeries. And that was one thing kind of bugged me a little bit. That's what made me super sad because what's amazing about him, even after all his success, he never changed.
Yeah.
Never changed anything. He always humble, always like cool, always like calm. Every time he's in town, he and his girlfriend come invite me to go eat. We always eat in the same place. He come very humble. Even I was talking to him about how you deal with all this fame. He said, Rigan, it's part of the business. You know what I mean? You deal, you have, it's like a job. When you have to deal, you have to deal. But my life is boring. I'm simple. I have one girlfriend. I go home and do my work. I use that to help other people, like other newcomers, new students, new guys. He's a beautiful soul, the guy.
Yeah.
Was one person who died, who I was super, super sad because he's a good person, man. What a great guy. You know?
Yeah, he's a guy that I have. It's so sad to hear he passed because I've gained so much more knowledge about him since his passing because I didn't know stories like what you told me and stories like that I've heard since, and I've seen him, he was getting ridiculed. Like you weren't mean at all to him. That's just guy talk, what you said, and you were looking out for him. But he was literally ridiculed on the internet for being skinny and for all these different things, like being bullied on the internet. And he just never said anything. He just kept going forward. And this is a nice guy who gave his award away one time to a guy who stopped an attacker in a Waffle House. I think it was a VMA award or something. He's just such a selfless guy. And the more I learn about him now, it's just so sad that sometimes good guys like him suffer the worst fates, and it's just not fair.
That's wise one. But I've been training celebrities. Everything started with one celebrity when they opened my school in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, you got a lot of them.
Yeah. I have opportunity to meet my first student was Kutcher.
Yeah.
Kutcher was my mentor in everything, business, in academy. What a brilliant person. I learned so much about that from him. And little by little, he said, Riga, keep like this, you know what I mean? This is a perfect school for celebrities to come because it's very private. The academy is on the back, it's not on the front. And little by little, I started meeting a lot of people. I ended up meeting Paul Walker, become friends. And I went to travel with Paul Walker to do Fast and Furious 5. After this, become friends of Van Diesel, working Fast and Furious 7. E I think Van Diesel, he was the one who pushed me to the next level. I think what Van Diesel did for me was super cool. He asked me to come to help one of his fights. He have this fight with Jason Statham. Mm-hmm. And the problem he have on the fight when it come to grappling, both was not happy with the grappling scene.
Okay.
And it's a Rigan, just come over. The studio sent me some money to come, and they sent a big check actually. And I went over there. I fixed the problem in 20 minutes. Yeah. Between one fight between him and Jason Statham to both look good.
Yeah.
And he want to give me extra money. Yes, I said, no, I'm not going to accept. They already gave me some money. I say, Vin, come on.
Yeah.
I don't want to accept another check. Sorry. He said, let me do something cool for you. And he sit me on the thing. He start talk with his camera like I come to help him to do one of the best fight scenes, blah, 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 blah. Paul Walker introducing him to him. He told something like that. He put in his Facebook. When he put in his Facebook, was over 120 million followers.
Yeah, he has a huge Facebook.
Facebook was the hot potato. There I received thousands of phone calls. Somebody called. I received thousands of phone calls, and that changed because I got a phone call from 8711, and was the director of John Wick, Chad, was another phenomenal martial artist. And he said, "Here, I want you to meet Keanu. We want you to help on the film, the Jiu-Jitsu, put him to do more Jiu-Jitsu." And when I went there, we trained Keanu. Keanu did some Jiu-Jitsu movies, start look, you know what I mean, more loose, because in the beginning he was a little stiff. And we trained for almost 5-6 months.
Wow.
And he did John Wick. He was in top shape. that was open a complete opportunity to do one movie after another. That's right after I did Black Panther. I did all kind of movies. I've been over 30 films. Now I'm stunt coordinator. I did 2 movies as a stunt coordinator, and I try to capitalize from because I'm surrounded by some of the best stunt coordinators in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see how far I can push their knowledge and their learning to use jiu-jitsu to in the films, and I've been chance to get offers now left and right. I'm excited about this new world of opportunities. You know what I mean? Hollywood is. I have opportunity to train over 100 celebrities. It's kind of so amazing when you meet some of these guys. It was your idol. The first time I have lunch with Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I come super friend of Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson trains jiu-jitsu now. For me to see this guy, like, is so amazing because I have this love for the industry in Hollywood. I remember watching Braveheart, Mad Max, Lethal Weapon. It sounds like you talk to this amazing director and filmmaker. He's one of the best feelings in the world.
A little birdie told me you're actually doing a movie with Mel Gibson coming up. It's called Boss Level or something?
No, I did Boss Level, but I did a small cameo. I come a very good friend of Frank Grillo and Joe Cunningham.
Yep, love him.
And they are gonna be in 2 of his movies. We try remake The Raid. It was a Malaysian film, action film. We're gonna try do a new version. They doing another one with Mel Gibson played the lead star, Frank Grillo too. And basic for me, I just try and enjoy the ride this year, have fun. You know what I mean? Hollywood for me is like Disneyland.
Yeah, it's
when you
fun, huh?
The set, work in the movie, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My real life is jiu-jitsu, the seminars, the academies, is open so much opportunities in so many different business. And for me, involved today in technology, involved in all kinds of little things. For me, every day I say thanks for jiu-jitsu and thanks for the mixed martial arts world. And today I'm the biggest fan. I don't miss one UFC. I love the new generation. Yeah, it's amazing. I want to go to Thailand to spend some time with you.
Yeah, I want you to come. You remember when I met you on the set, right?
I'm going to tell Thailand is my favorite place in the world to go. I've been in Thailand 2 times. For me, it's no place like Thailand. It's my favorite.
Do you remember we talked about that? I came to California maybe like within a year ago, and I met you on the set of one of the films, and we talked about Thailand. Arnold Chan was there. He introduced me to you. And we were talking about Thailand. I invited you out here and everything. And you told me how...
I would love to go. I have so many friends in Thailand. Thailand for me is one of my favorite places to go. As soon as this coronavirus start slow down, I'm going to come to see you for 100%.
Absolutely. I mean, you're welcome, and you'll love it here for sure, definitely. And we got everything you can imagine. I'll show you the islands. I'll show you the country. I got to ask you before you go, through your career, I got 2 questions. What is, just because of your historic legend status in the sport of BJJ, what would you say is your favorite technique of all time? And then what technique have you relied on the most in your career that you say that you probably used the most in your career?
Depend. I'm gonna tell. I have few. When I fight judo competition, I like to do chokes.
Yep.
A little bit arm bars. When I fought jiu-jitsu in my career from blue, purple, I used to do a lot of techniques like from the guard, like armbar, triangle. I was very good on that. After a while, I start get better standing, better, stronger. I start like the side control to finishing a lot of chokes on the side and from the mount and from a little bit on the back. But today, I think the side control, when they get people on the side, is the place I like to torture the guy and set him up and do all my techniques today. side control. I have this techniques I do. I twist the guy in a way to hurt his spine. It's like kind of torture the guy a little bit. It's my favorite techniques because I'm bigger and stronger now, and I get inside the side control. I control the guy. I say, "Oh man, I'm gonna punish you now. I'm gonna try to twist you every way I can." The side control today is my favorite position. I used to like a lot the guard, but today the side control, passing the guard. I like to be on top today. 9% for me. The guy boom for the guard. I'm happy. Because that's the kind of game I like to play. You know what I mean? I like the top position. Like when they pull for the guard, in case the guy is so bad staying in their mind, and I pull for the guard, I play the guard to try set up some sweeps and stuff like that. But I still learning. I look myself as a student. Today I focus a lot of my learning in heel hooks, foot locks, which is what the new generation do. You know? And I try to update myself in the knowledge because a lot of my students today focus in foot lock, heel hooks, no-gi and stuff like that. And I like that. I love what the job the guy, because that was a loop in jiu-jitsu, was a hole in the game because the sport jiu-jitsu in the gi was not allowed to do heel hooks.
Right, I remember
and attack the legs as much. Because the number of injuries, they have the reason, the rules to do that. But for me, I think that was a hole because today you see the no-gi competition, people open the opportunity to do that. And a lot of the new generation found this hole, that weakness, which is going to push the game to change. Because now the new generation is going to try to update for that, to fix this hole. And that's it's a good way to improve your jiu-jitsu today. And I think that's what I like to be on the side control and submitting chokes, little things like that. That's my favorite game today.
And what advice would you give to somebody coming up trying to be the best, not just a casual BJJ studier, but just an actual competitor trying to be the best and get to a high level? What would your advice be to someone like that would really save them some time? Because we get a lot of aggressive guys coming in, even in MMA, and they don't make the right decisions from the start.
I think you have today to looking for two things. One, a good camp,
right,
which specific training for competition, which you right now have so many amazing camps. The second thing is to find a good team to train you physically, nutritionist and training. I think you have these two, you're in the right direction. And the second thing, it's going to come to a point people is going to test your heart, your emotion. You see what you made from. You're a fighter or you're doing that just for want to get the fame. I did everything because I love. I did for no money. I did for the pleasure in the love for the sport. Today, I tell my students, you love jiu-jitsu, jiu-jitsu going to love you back. Just do for the love, because that's what's going to come to a point you're going to need to keep going. Because to train 6 hours a day, to go to fight every weekend, you do for the love.
Right,
it's come to a point, not for, you do for the money, you're doing for the wrong reasons, because it's going to come to a point you're not going to be able to handle the sacrifice you have to go through to be the best what you can be. You have to do with your heart. The money is a consequence for the success, is the complement of your success on your career. That's the advice I give to the new generation.
Yeah, and has this pandemic been a real big problem for BJJ in America, as far as like, has it really been a big issue?
Are you serious? This destroy like almost 30% already from the business. Like example, I used to book myself 1.5 years in advance to do around the world seminars, make amazing money, and have like waiting list of private lesson, charge $500 an hour.
Yeah, and
these two business completely disappeared, 100%. Because of the coronavirus, I closed my academy. I'm lucky because I have few other business outside who keep me alive and keep making my lifestyle and keep me moving forward, because I feel bad for the generation of people who leave month by month from the business, who have a family. It's not like have to close the academy in case you have loans to the government, loans, you know me, to be able to pay all this little. It's crazy, brother. I'm gonna tell, it's the most crazy time I ever seen, ever. And I'm happy to be happy with my life right now. I hope this sooner or later, the lights of the tunnel, the hope things are gonna get better, and life is gonna come back normal.
Yeah, I hope it ends soon. It's crazy, and luckily in Thailand it's not a big deal, but I know it is there in America. So anyway, and I really respect and appreciate, and I'm honored that you took the time out to do the show with me. And
my pleasure.
Honestly,
you're a good guy.
It's been great.
I was like, anytime you're gonna go to Thailand, you're gonna hang out.
100% I got you. Just hit me up before you come, and I will definitely show you a great trip like I promised you. Thank you so much, sir.
Take care, my brother. I appreciate it.
All right. Rigan Machado. Wow. I mean, I'm still just like me being a purple belt technically in BJJ. It's like I feel kind of like a stock boy in the warehouse of Amazon, sitting down having a conversation with Jeff Bezos. Like I had that kind of vibe going, talking to Mr. Machado. He's such a legend in the sport. It was so cool. I met him on a set. We were having a little difficulty communicating. His phone was he was getting a lot of calls because he's like crazy popular, obviously. So it was kind of making it hard for him to hear some of my questions and back and forth. But we met in California a while back with a friend of mine on the set of a film, and that's when I invited him to Thailand, and that conversation started up, and I've been wanting to get him on the show ever since. We finally worked it out, and it was everything I hoped for. It was a great conversation. I loved hearing the behind the scenes from the past, and he's getting his accolades finally for that fight with Rickson and getting a star in Brazil. That's amazing. I was joking about the fight with him and Rickson, but it would have been cool to have like some kind. You could just bring those two on the mat, and like the place would go crazy. I mean that's the level they're at right now, and that if you haven't watched that fight between him and Rickson Gracie, Google it or go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in just type in Rigan and Rickson, and that's all you got to do. 1986. It's an amazing bout, and take into consideration when you watch that bout that Rigan was a student of Rickson, and in BJJ it's very respectful to not try and beat your instructor, even if you can. Not that you can, oftentimes, probably almost never. But it's very respectful to not try and beat or show up your instructor. You always have a crazy amount of respect for your instructor and for your master. And in this situation, I heard an interview from Rickson, which we didn't talk about. I'm just giving you some insight here. I saw an interview with Rigan. Rickson actually came over to him and told him to go full on and take it to him. And so Rickson wanted his best fight. Another thing to note that we didn't talk about during the actual podcast is they already cleared out the whole tournament. So Rigan cleared out one side, Rickson cleared out the other side. And now here they are in the middle having this super mega fight. And here's Rickson saying they both didn't want to fight each other, obviously, for real. It was a weird situation for Rigan, being that Rickson is his trainer, his instructor. And then Rickson comes over and says, I want you to fight me full on. Which if I was Rigan, I don't know where he's thinking, but that's either good or bad, when Rickson tells you that. And he literally did that. So when you're watching the fight, just think about those dynamics when you're watching it, because Rigan did, and it started out Rigan got a takedown on Rickson, and he said he got a takedown and the place went nuts. It wasn't. It was like more than a takedown. He like picked Rickson up and slammed him like pretty much on his head. I would say he at least got the breath knocked out of him. If not, maybe went a little concussed and probably got a little bit of a flash knockout. So that shows you the level Rickson is to come back from that and put on this epic battle that ensued as soon as that was over with. So I'm not trying to drag this on, guys, but just definitely check that out. And it's the legend of Rigan, the legend of Rickson. These are two of the greatest BJJ guys of all time. It was an honor to sit here and have a conversation with him. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. I hope you took a lot from it. If you're watching on YouTube, please leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what I could have done better. I know that Top Gun reference was a stretch, but give me credit for that. Come on, it was 1986, and I pulled that completely out of the air. And 34 years later, Top Gun 2 is coming out, and he's getting accolades 34 years later for the fight with Rickson. That's crazy coincidence, right? So, I mean, I'm not crazy. Like, it's kind of there. How could they not have Rickson there to do some kind of like something for charity, or I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, sorry for stretching that out. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the show. Like I said, I appreciate the support, guys. We're putting these out. I'm doing 4 podcasts this week, so I am spending a lot of time getting these out there. I love these conversations. I got very interesting guests coming up. We just posted Ali's tonight from Dominance. I got this one. I got Renzo Gracie coming up next. I got Luke Rockhold coming up soon. We got some really good podcasts coming up, so subscribe on YouTube if you're watching this. Leave us a comment. If you're on the audio platform, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, you can leave us a review. You can subscribe or whatever they do there as well. And thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you next time.